All right, you guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry for the late wait for the next video. I'm gonna focus on uploading more videos. The goal is to have one video every 2 weeks. But on another note, the topic of this video, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. As you guys saw in that fight, there's a lot of controversy from what the fans are saying, but let's get into it. Let's dive into this fight and analyze it and see, what happened. Let's just break it down. So prior to the fight, there was a lot of buildup. This fight was designed to be a unification fight for the light heavyweight division. Before this, if I'm not mistaken, 15 years ago, the last unification fight in the light heavyweight division was from Roy Jones Jr. or another fighter. So don't quote me on that. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is that it's been a while since there was the last unification fight in the light heavyweight division, and this year we've been spoiled with a lot of fights. Unification fights don't come often, but credit to the Saudi families for making this happen, and credit to Beterbiev and Bivol risking their O's undefeated record to make this happen. Leading up to the fight, a lot of people were saying that this fight was going to be 50-50, but a common theme, but what I was hearing a lot from people was that it'd go either in two ways. The first way was that Artur Beterbiev was going to knock out Bivol. He was going to overwhelm him and then knock him out. In my opinion, I've always seen Beterbiev not as a one-punch knockout artist, but someone who smothers people to the point where they get exhausted and then his power just overwhelms them. But it's not one-punch knockout. It's more so just an accumulation of punches. That was one scheme that people saw happening. And another scheme that people saw happening was that Dmitry Bivol would have beaten Artur Beterbiev in points, but he had a huge challenge to face. No one has taken Artur Beterbiev the full distance of a boxing match. His record is 20-0, and Bivol's record before the fight was 23-0. Leading into the fight, it was a beautiful card, by the way. There was a lot of exciting fights. The co-main event between Fabio Wardley and Frazier Clark shocked me. I couldn't believe it. It was a devastating knockout by Fabio Wardley. But let's get into the fight. Both fighters are in the ring. The early rounds, I think most people would suggest that Bivol won them. He was really precise with his combinations. He had quick footwork. Granted, it was the early rounds, so both fighters had a lot of energy. Bivol had really good ring IQ, which allowed him to control the early rounds. And it did seem to frustrate Beterbiev with his movement and counterpunching. I actually thought Beterbiev was getting hurt, but I couldn't tell because he just wouldn't show any reactions. And then we started to notice a momentum shift in the fight. Beterbiev's pressure was starting to build. As the fight progressed, Beterbiev started to apply more pressure. He started landing those powerful punches that pushed Bivol onto his back foot. But I feel like Bivol still fought very well on the back foot. It's one of those gray areas in boxing where, some judges want to see a fighter very aggressive. But at the same time, if you're fighting on the back foot, you're still landing and you're not allowing your opponent to punch you, it's up for discussion. But in the middle rounds, that's when Beterbiev started to gain momentum. I wouldn't even say middle rounds. I'd say around the 4th or 5th round. His relentless aggression and agility to close the distance gradually shifted to the momentum. And then what happened was most spectators, most fans were, most people were feeling that Bivol regained the momentum, started, boxing, started, I would say, walking down Beterbiev, not necessarily walking him down, but not allowing Beterbiev to have him against the ropes like most of his opponents, where he just has him against the ropes, trapped. I felt like Bivol did a really good job of escaping, but Beterbiev did a really good job as well of just being relentless with the pressure. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but that takes a lot of energy. Just moving around the ring, just chasing someone down and cutting off the angle. And then we get into the late rounds. That's where I'm a little bit divided because people are saying that it's a robbery. I feel like it was a close fight, but these late rounds were really controversial because Beterbiev gained control in the final rounds, forcing Bivol to defend more and occasionally retreat. Despite Bivol's technical ability, Beterbiev's late surge made the fight closer than expected. So it was a close fight. Then after the entire fight, all 12 rounds, we went to the judges' scorecards, and that's where the controversy began from what the fans are saying. In my honest opinion, I just thought it was a close fight. It could have gone either way, but one thing that really bothered me was one of the judges' scorecards. One of the judges scored it 116 to 112, basically implying that Beterbiev was more dominant by a mile than Bivol. I couldn't agree with that because I felt like it was a close fight. It was too close of a fight to say that Beterbiev won with that wide of a margin on the judges' scorecard. If Beterbiev would have won by split decision, I would have been like, okay, that's fair. But the fact that one of the judges had the fight scored 116-112, that really bothered me. Even, 116-112's favoring Beterbiev. Many people felt like the fight was close or even favoring Bivol slightly. Beviev won on majority decision, and he's now the unified light heavyweight champion of the world. A rematch is on the table for sure between Artur Beterbiev and Bivol. Fighters seem to be happy. I don't know if Beterbiev was happy with it, but it seems like that type of fight, especially with how it ended, there's got to be a rematch, you know what I mean? And as for Bivol, he's very humble as well. I respect how he carried himself after the fight. He didn't really go off on a ramble or anything. He just explained that it basically it is what it is. The fight was over and he had no control of it, so he just focused on the future. And I think we should be focused on the future as well. The fight's over. I don't know if either team could dispute the scorecard. I don't know how boxing works in that sense. My guess is that once it's set, it's set. But I feel like from a fan's point of view, it was a very exciting fight. It lived up to the hype. That wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe.